Welcome to a new era of baseball's great spectacle. The T-Mobile Home Run Derby, live on Netflix. The biggest sluggers in baseball put their talents to the test on All-Star Weekend. Raw power meets star power. Big swagger meets bigger slams. And you don't swing to make contact. You swing to make history. Watch the T-Mobile Home Run Derby live on Netflix this Monday, July 13th at 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific.
This summer, say I do.
I am marrying a stranger.
Like never before.
Am I crazy?
It's a whole new Married at First Sight on Peacock.
Thank God I woke up in love.
With new experts.
My name is Dr. Lisa.
My name's Paul Brunson.
More couples.
This could be the start of a very successful marriage.
And more surprises.
Or maybe not.
Everything is just not enough.
You're a little bit crazy.
I don't know what's gonna happen. I want my fairy tale ending.
Married at First Sight, streaming July 12th, only on Peacock.
Hi, it's Dave here, and this is my wife, Kathy.
Hello.
This is the Cinemile, the podcast where we walk home from the movies. Today we're walking to the newest movie by director and star Olivia Wilde called The Invite. So this is her follow-up to Don't Worry Darling, which we reviewed. You can scroll back or search
And we also reviewed her first ever movie,
Booksmart.
Booksmart.
Yeah, we've done all three, the trilogy.
And we enjoyed Booksmart more than we enjoyed Don't Worry Darling. But like, I really feel for her because, and this happens all the time and we don't even need to say it on this podcast, but when women make films that aren't like critically acclaimed or have some controversy around them, they are lambasted, slated, abused, trolled. Every which way she was about that film.
Well, her personal life and relationship got kind of thrown into the mix.
There was all thrown into the mix, all sorts of conspiracy theories, and like the film, I was a bit more positive on it than Dave. Like we were like at it, we were talking about it yesterday. At a script level,
bad film, I think.
At a script level, it was so flawed.
Yeah.
Like, I do think though, looks wise and the feel of it, a director having pulled it all together, I think she'd done a good job. I think she's a good director.
I agree. There's some interesting stuff in that film. It's certainly not terrible.
No.
But it is like I gotta say,
I've never watched it again.
Looking back, I'm even our format is obviously you get our instant reaction, and we don't get time to sit with the film. But like having sat with that film now. Won't spoil it, but like it is just so ridiculous.
It is
and stupid.
It starts out so well and it ends so badly. But Booksmart was really funny and we really enjoyed it.
That's
and we saw that years ago with guest Jarlath Regan, who many of you will know as An Irishman Abroad. So you can scroll back to like 2017, 2018, whenever that came out. But we're excited for this.
I suppose I'll link to these two episodes in the show
notes. We should
notes.
link to them, yeah. We're actually really excited for The Invite because we've kind of successfully really avoided trailers, but the word of mouth on this is really strong. It's like 100 minutes.
Two couples at a dinner party, right?
I think so. One of them invites the other over, I believe. It's about 100 minutes long. It's comedy, and it has a great cast. So it has Olivia Wilde, as we said. It has Edward Norton. It has Seth Rogen, and it has Penelope Cruz. So like incredible cast.
Penelope Cruz hot off her incredible role in The Bride.
Oh Jesus!
Only a few weeks ago.
It's based on a film, The People Upstairs, which was a Spanish movie from 2020. So it's based on that, but it's been adapted by Rashida Jones and Will McCormack. Obviously, we know who Rashida Jones. Yeah, she's great. And Will McCormack, I did have to look up, but he's a writer, and he actually worked on Toy Story 4, amongst other things. So great writing
the last
pedigree
good Toy Story film.
See Toy Story 5 review on this podcast. So I'm really pumped for this. I can't wait. We haven't been at a comedy for ages.
Yeah, it's nice to see a comedy at the cinema as well when people are vibing
I
with
know,
it, like horror.
No, I do have to say,
you don't get many of them these
days. I booked
days.
the seats earlier, like 2 p.m. It's now 8 p.m. We were the only two people when I booked it.
Oh, no.
But look, people might come later. It is,
fair,
however,
it's one of the
nice
hottest days of the year. There's a heat wave here in Cork.
Yeah, people have probably better things to be doing, but we don't. So we will go and see The Invite now, and we'll be back after we've seen it.
See you shortly.
Hi, come in.
Nice to see you.
We are so happy you're here.
Are we expecting people? Can we put curtains on this window? I don't like how they can see into our apartment. This shirt, well, it's nice. It looks really good on you.
Well, you could tell me that once in a while.
Take them off?
I don't give a fuck if you take your shoes off.
For me, no gluten, no dairy, no meat, no sugar.
Okay, hi, we're back. We've seen The Invite, and if it's your first time here at the cinema, we won't spoil the movie until, of course, we get to Spoiler Street. Kathy, how are you feeling about that movie?
I'm feeling very good about that movie. I wholeheartedly recommend people watch it. It's quite a roller coaster emotionally. It's very, very funny. We laughed out loud many, many times.
I also think, I don't know if the trailer has just kind of revealed the central premise to it, but we're not going to even talk about that, I think.
It's 4 actors and essentially one set. Like, it's just set in one apartment. And it's wonderful. It could nearly be a play, you know. They're all 4 of them are amazing. Olivia Wilde really shines in a cast that strong.
I thought she was the standout.
Blown away, yeah.
I think this is the best performance I've ever seen.
I think so too. She is such a good director. I absolutely loved how this film was shot, how the music was used, how the camera worked around people's expressions, and some of the lighting was really interesting. I'd be very curious to see the original and see if it's kind of borrowed like the visual tone and all that from the original, or I'd be very curious to compare them. It's such a wonderful film. I don't want to give things away before Spoiler Street, but like I would say this is shot to the top of my list of movies I've loved this year. Like I really love this film. I think it's really wonderful, and I'm buzzing. I'm absolutely buzzing to have a film centered around relationships and like human drama and nothing else. To me is wonderful, because I get, you know, very bored of like high concept or superhero or horror, or I really crave relationship dramas like this. I'm so glad to see one in the cinema and not have to watch it on Amazon with my off campuses.
Yeah.
Dave.
Yeah, it's great to see this at the cinema,
yeah.
isn't it? Unfortunately, our screening was completely dead.
Yeah. But we realised after
there were 4 of us.
We were also like, oh wait, it's the first quarterfinal of the World Cup, which
yeah, that's
also
true.
may have put a pin in people's cinema going.
France are through. Spoiler alert. Not in Spoiler Street yet.
Yeah.
So I loved this film as well. I thought it was excellent. I thought, I agree with everything you said. It is wonderful just to watch an adult, grown-up film at the cinema.
And like 4 A-list actors as well, you know.
And this is like, because I think Olivia Wilde is an actress herself, I think actors turn directors often that work really well when directing actors. Mm-hmm. And this is, you know, this film is all about these it hangs off these 4, particularly mm-hmm. Olivia Wilde and Seth Rogen. Mm-hmm. And I guess
Penelope Cruz, I've never seen her so funny that I remember.
It's fun. That's the thing. She's very fun. This film is very fun. It's laugh out loud funny, and also very human and relatable and kind of bittersweet mm-hmm. and sad and poignant and quite beautiful in parts. Mm-hmm. And I was just so super impressed with it, and the script is excellent.
Yeah, it's a great script.
Who did you say wrote this? Rashida Jones.
And a writing partner whose name I've forgotten.
The man whose names we said.
And it's based on an original film, so you know there's somebody third in here because he wrote the original story, of course, which this is based on.
Yeah.
God, it's so good. I just really feel like we should go to spoilers, and anyone who hasn't seen it should just like turn off now and go watch it.
Highly recommend it. Highly recommend it.
Mm-hmm.
It's so good.
Yeah, it's so good. It's just so for us as well, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like as soon as it started, within like a minute, I was like, this film is for me. Like, it's really funny. Like, immediately tensions between the couple.
It's tense.
Immediately
as well.
Stressful.
Yeah, it's stressful.
And like immediately like both melancholic and funny, which I love. Is such a good tone. And just the opening, as soon as it started visually, I was like, oh, there's a lot of care here in the visuals of this film and how the frames are constructed. And it's funny, like this nearly could have come off the back of Booksmart. It's really interesting to me that in the middle of it she did Don't Worry Darling, which is so different.
That feels like a huge departure. But then that's, you know, that's cool. She should
It is
go out there
cool.
and try different
exactly.
things. And, you know,
And
she's...
this, I mean, aside from the salaries of these four, like this would have been a very low budget film, of course, because it's only one apartment.
Yeah.
Which I love, and this is why horror does do so well as a genre, because it can be quite cheap to make. Like Obsession, which we both loved this year, would have been very cheap to make. And this, relatively, as again salaries aside, would have been very cheap to make.
I love
and
this.
like brilliant, great.
Yeah, bring us like low budget, interesting adult films,
Yeah.
whether it's horror or drama or whatever.
Yeah.
More of that.
What about
Right?
Edward Norton being
Isn't that-
so funny in this film as well?
Yeah, he's
Really surprised me here.
I will say so.
I always think of Edward Norton as being like very serious, very intense, very po-faced.
He has a reputation for that.
So he's.
But
really
he
took me
certainly,
by
I mean, we
surprise.
saw him in that Knives Out film, a couple, Glass Onion. Like he's
Oh, yeah,
has done a lot of comedy over the years. He did Death to Smoochie with Robin Williams. So I think in particular though, it's Seth Rogen and Olivia Wilde are they are the center of this movie.
Yeah.
They're your grounding, and they're the most relatable. And then you've got these other people enter their orbit, and that's where the sort of conflict and and that's when and that's it is classic. It's the classic tension of every story being, you know, someone goes on a journey or a stranger comes to town, and this is a stranger comes to town.
I feel
right?
like it's a great trope as well, though, when you've like one couple who are quote unquote normal, or would consider themselves to be, and then they meet the kind of quote-unquote zany couple.
Yeah.
It was reminding me of, do you remember when we watched Mr. and Mrs. Smith, the Amazon show that we loved?
Oh yeah,
And there's a scene
there's
in
a dinner
that
episode.
with another couple.
Oh, it's very like
it was
that.
really giving me those vibes. Anyway, I really do think we
That's
should
a
go to
great
spoilers.
reference.
So, if you haven't seen it, you should turn off because we're going to go to spoilers. And before we go there, just to remind you that every week we are recapping House of the Dragon, and our retro movie watch this month is a tournament movie as voted by our patrons, and overwhelmingly A Knight's Tale has won, so we will be watching
the
A Knight's
2001
Tale.
Heath Ledger.
Yeah, I can't
which
wait to
neither
rewatch.
of us have seen
No,
before.
I've seen
Oh,
it.
sorry, you saw it. I haven't
Yeah,
seen
but
it.
like once in the cinema, so
Yeah.
can't wait for a rewatch. Anyway, we are about to go to Spoiler Street. You may hear a quick ad.
All right, so spoilers now for The Invite. You have been warned. I'm curious to see whether the trailer actually reveals, like,
When I saw Seth
What
Rogen
the
going,
invite
you
is.
with her and me with you, I was like, oh, I've seen that before. I'd forgotten. I had that is
oh,
in the
so
trailer.
the trailer does kind of intonate.
But I'd forgotten I'd seen it in the trailer until that moment.
That's
but yeah.
a shame, because it kind of happens halfway through the film. It
Yeah,
builds up
but
to
you
it.
kind of, in fairness, it's a high.
You gotta get bums
like,
on
You
seats.
gotta like, otherwise the sell is the cast.
No, I get it.
But I had forgotten it. So like I think this kind of a film, in I would say like 3 parts to discuss, right? Firstly, it's like when we first meet the couple and like how much they hate each other from like the first second we see them. Then it's when Penelope Cruz and Edward Norton arrive, and like all the absolute hilarious shenanigans that like ends in like them almost having an orgy, and I was genuinely disappointed when it didn't happen. And then the third is like the very profound, like intense last 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Like there's so much emotionally going on here. I didn't expect it to hit the depths. Like at the beginning it was just so funny. Like he drags himself home from work and they have this big argument, and like it was just so funny.
Well, what's interesting is that I think to use your 3 sections there, to talk about the first one, like at the beginning it felt like I don't think you realize until the end that this is their lives every night. Like
Exactly, it felt exceptional.
When he came in and they did this bickering, it felt like he just had a bad day. You know, we first meet him and we do meet him in this melancholic state, in this.
And there's a little flash at the beginning
class.
of them playing the piano together, but we don't really see it.
To the point where I thought that was at the end, everything bad had happened and we were going to flash back.
Right.
But I had the sense that, you know, their fighting was kind of very relatable and relatively minor. Like, you know, take your shoes off and wait, you invited people over. Well, oh no, I'm not in the mood. You know, it felt could have been just like a Wednesday night.
Yeah.
But as the movie goes on, you realize, oh no, this is the entirety of their communications with each other. And I think
And it's quite dark because actually she's very deceptive. He's grumpy bastard. And then she's like, I told you I invited them already, which she hadn't. She's like, I bought this rug in a flea market, and Hawk is like, no, you didn't. And she's like, she keeps referencing casually these things that she bought cheap, and like you're like, she's not, like she's shopping all day in really expensive shops, which I found a fascinating little thing.
But what's funny is they're both miserable and they're coping with it in very different ways. Like he wants to revel in the misery and shut himself off from creativity, and she's like just
poured herself into this apartment.
Yeah, exactly. It's
By the
a
way, I
project.
cannot believe how beautiful their apartment was.
I mean, she did a great job. Yeah.
Amazing. Also, I was like, ooh, because I love that shade of green. Could you paint your whole house green?
Sorry,
that's what they've done.
That was Kathy turned to
The
me at one point and was talking about their wall before Olivia Wilde had the whole scene with the paint. Kathy was like, "I'm on that paint."
Yeah, I was like, I want
but
those
I
walls.
was the Seth Rogen guy because I was like, literally, like the gag about those three colors.
I mean, that was very funny. But
good.
they also were the same.
But also the cutaway of, I thought this is very clever. Like when they had Seth Rogen and Penelope Cruz in one room, and he asks her, "How did you know that your marriage was ending?" And then we cut back, and Olivia Wilde in the last scene was to Edward Norton, you know, like, "I've got a really big thing I want to ask you." And then he's like, "Well, where do you see yourself? Are you by yourself?" It's like, it's a gag. It was a good visual gag that he was talking about.
Gag. And I love that, like, both, like, he really fancies Penelope Cruz and she really fancies Edward Norton.
Yeah.
And they obviously, like, picked up what they were putting down. And the whole build up to the orgy stuff, but like, all the, like, Olivia Wilde, like, I guess she was so neurotic at the beginning with like Penelope Cruz arrives and it's like, I don't eat ham, I don't eat cheese, which by the way would be an insane thing to go to someone's house for dinner and not mention that you don't eat wheat, meat.
I know, right? No, to
cheese.
be fair, they only arranged it this morning.
I
as
know,
we found
but
out.
you would say like, FYI, I'm a vegan who doesn't eat wheat, because like you're very limiting. All she can eat is a few olives.
I mean, I thought that was
also
Olivia Wilde's reaction
good.
was so over the top to that. Like it's not your fault, but that's her character. Her character was one of the most wound up characters I've ever seen, and she nailed it.
Like when she took the Xanax, I was pleased as a viewer because I was like, I can't cope with the stress.
I know, yeah.
Of, like, watching her anymore.
Even when she was trying to have sex with Edward Norton, just taking off the blouse. Like, she's a really good physical actress as well.
He
I thought
was
she
so
was
funny. I actually like. Okay, did you find yourself shipping each of them, the couples, to split off and have sex? Because I was totally shipping it.
No, I didn't. I wasn't shipping it as such. I was kind of intellectually curious. I didn't think
it was going to happen because I was like, I don't think the film's going there.
I thought it might happen and then it would leave them feeling worse because they're clearly, the movie's saying they have, you know, and I loved the resolution, by the way, the third part. I loved all of that. But I think the movie's...
Well, Penelope Cruz lays it down.
Oh, but she's a great therapist.
Yeah.
But
I love when she sat down and like into her therapy pose.
Yeah. Sorry, the Rubus tea gag and fuck off Hall.
That was so funny. But sorry, she's a terrible therapist because she slept with her own patient who was in grief for his dead wife. So she's an awful therapist, by the way.
That's true. Sorry, that's
like
a
the
big,
number one
big red
boundary.
line.
Yeah.
But no, the movie is, the characters are. Before we sat down to watch this movie, weirdly, during the ads, you were telling me about a podcast you were listening to about
Only Fantasy. Yeah, which I think is really good.
OnlyFans creators. And you revealed something which was interesting, which I think plays into this movie a bit, in that you said that the majority of OnlyFans viewers are not looking for sex, they're actually looking for intimacy and connection, and human connection, right?
Well, because they were saying, like, why would people pay for OnlyFans when porn is free? And the answer is they want a connection with the creator. They're not just looking for free porn.
Yeah, they're looking to with a connection with an individual.
Yeah,
right. And I think,
which, by the way, seems like it's largely a scam, and they're like basically bots.
Okay, let's not go off on that tangent. But I think here we have a couple who are so miserable and so lonely and are so lacking in intimacy in their own marriage that it's sad, and that's why they're kind of just desperately looking for it elsewhere, and why they both kind of, and they're both incredibly horny. As Penelope Cruz pointed out.
The reveal that like Olivia Wilde walks in front of the window every morning.
Yeah,
Like,
that's
that was
good.
a great
That's
reveal.
all. You're right. The way the script ladders all this information and these little reveals, and they're not like huge revelatory stuff, but it's enough. They're dropped. The pacing of this script is
The
fantastic.
script is brilliant. Like, this whole film
Very
is, like,
tight.
I feel like I know every character so well. I feel like I was really invested in all
Yeah.
of them. There was
Even-
twists even at the end with Hawk and his wife, and like Seth Rogen being such a prick. But then, like, Penelope Cruz is like, "Do you hear how you're speaking to each other?" It's so awful, and I really find this, like, you can often find this with couples where they would have been in a period in their life like very happy together, or they must have really liked each other, or why would they have ever gotten together? But they, exactly as Penelope Cruz is saying, it's like couples can get into this thing where they start blaming each other for their own mistakes or choices or whatever you call it, and then they just resent each other so much.
Yeah.
And I think her advice is really good, which is, well, you need to start a new relationship with this person, or you need to just break up.
I think that's a great,
It's great advice.
idea, isn't it? She says something earlier, like along those lines, isn't it? It's like you can have a different relationship with the same person.
That's literally what I just said.
Sorry, yeah. See, I don't listen to you either. Like,
I want Penelope Cruz to shrink us. But yeah, I think why the ending was so impactful is they end up, like, their frustrations, and his frustration is, but what do you do all day? Like our daughter's at school, what do you do? You gave up on your dream. And he's frustrated at her. And then he's like, it's so embarrassing, I live in my parents' apartment. And to that I say, and I'm glad she told him off, most people would kill for this apartment. And I really wanted to say, well, buddy, if you hate it that much, you can sell it and move somewhere else. But to be so begrudging of the fact that you've inherited an apartment like this is obnoxious. I couldn't stand someone acting like that.
I agree. Logically, that is correct.
It's just pathetic. Like,
No,
well,
no.
if you're that upset, sell the apartment and give the money to charity, buddy.
No, but I actually really did relate to the Seth Rogen's characters, like that feeling of, and I've experienced this feeling of that you're a failure, even though someone would kill for your own life, or and you can't see. I can often become obsessed with things I haven't done or want to do.
Sure, but like everyone has
while
that.
ignoring all the things I have achieved. That's what I'm saying, but everyone does that. So that's a very relatable thing, and he's done it to an extreme. He's decided to wallow in it.
And it's
that's
partially
the
probably
difference.
because it's a bit like in Power Ballad with Paul Rudd. But it's like he seems to have had success with one song and come quite close to making it, which I do think leaves a really bitter taste in a lot of musicians' mouths. So I think that's interesting, and he would not let Hawk put the record on.
I thought that was so
That was
interesting.
such a good touch. He's like, you cannot play that record. And then he can't play the piano. It's a little bit contrived because I don't really understand why he wouldn't play the piano. But look, that's part of his emotional breakdown and his depression. Just all that, like, they're so angry at each other.
Well, I think it was just reminding him of what he once loved and lost. And
yeah, and like but when Penelope Cruz says, like, why do you not have sex anymore? And they both say at the same time, they won't have sex with me.
yeah, it's
And she's
interesting,
like,
isn't
but
it?
would you have sex with yourself?
But
And they're
also-
like, what?
but
Like, it's
also-
so funny.
I think there's also something interesting in this film about kind of what people project in their marriage, right? Externally, because we get a sense. We don't really get a sense of Penelope Cruz and Edward Norton's internal characters at all. That it's very much we're in the perspective.
Of course,
Seth
they're
Rogen
just like the sexy, like, exotic people that have landed in.
And exactly, and I thought that's that's deliberate until the point where they give us the glimpse of, oh no wait, these two have ongoing fights and kind of hate each other as well.
As soon as he corrected her English, I lost my mind at that. Because everyone will have their own issues, of course. And it was worse when he corrected her English because she was in the middle of defending him.
I know.
And Seth Rogen had just been so awful. He's like, sorry that your wife died and you wouldn't peg her, so then you got pegged.
That was awful.
Like, Seth Rogen's so good in this. I do have a side question though. Like, can
Go on.
Seth Rogen be in a film without his character smoking a joint? Like, it's out of hand.
Yeah.
Like we get it that you like weed, but like,
I
can
will
you
say-
have another plot point in your life?
I will say between this and the studio, and a lot of the interesting writing projects he's done with his partner Evan Goldberg over the years, I think I've come to really appreciate
Same.
Seth Rogen as a creator and as a performer.
He's brilliant, and actually we did cover the studio over on our Patreon and we absolutely loved it. Yeah, in the last year for me, he's gone up like 10 notches.
Yeah,
he's such a good actor.
He is. But he's really pushing himself, I think.
Yeah.
And
he used to just do, like, at the very beginning, he kind of did the stoner laugh and the smoking, and I was like, oh, I can't do this now.
Well, it was what I'm really not into the whole Judd Apatow run personally, and he was very caught up in that. But that's fine. He's in his 20s then.
Exactly.
So, but what I really like about him now is that he's definitely has limitations. Like Olivia Wilde, I felt was like, she was really playing a brand new person to me, who I found unrecognizable and to Olivia Wilde, the actress. I've seen her in many very different personas. I mean, Seth Rogen is always kind of stuck with his own the distinctive laugh, and this character isn't 100 miles away from his own personality.
No, but he's much more reserved now, which I think suits him.
I agree. But I think he stretches himself. And he pushes himself, and he is mean here, which we don't often see
he's really mean.
Him do, and I think he's very good and
he's
convincing.
Really scary mean. The funniest scene for me was him and Penelope Cruz when they were in his office and they were like dancing.
It's like that song choice is so perfect, because they found a song which is not at all sexy.
Yeah.
And he's
a music professor, so he'd be really like, because earlier on he was all talking about Coltrane and jazz and like he's a music snob.
Exactly. So you can tell inside he's like, I fucking hate the song. But what I really thought they captured really well was just the sort of, they kind of think they want this, but the reality of when they were actually in the room with each of those people was like, we kind of want this.
No,
but
I think they both really wanted it.
I think they did want it, but it was like, the reality of it is incredibly awkward and weird. Like what they captured really well was just like a stranger coming up from behind you, even though he's attracted to her, and like all the little weird things she was doing, like rubbing his beard from the back. Like he was focusing in on that, and I felt like... But
he already said, like, thank you, this is like the best thing that's ever happened to me. I think they were both really into it, and if his back thing hadn't happened, they'd have both like very happily gone ahead. I love when they're like, well, we swap partners, and Seth Rogen looks at Olivia Wilde, which I liked, and was like, is that what you want?
Okay, but
she was like, yeah.
But here's what I'll pose to you. That's a moment where they were at a crossroads as a couple in their marriage. If they had gone ahead with it, I don't think their marriage survives. I think that makes it worse.
I don't know, because lots of people are in like consensually non-monogamous relationships and it works for them. So I don't know that that's true. But I think where the film ends is perfectly ambiguous, and it's 50-50 on whether they get back together or not.
I felt it was a little more 60-40 towards optimism. I felt like it had all been aired.
But see, I think it's optimistic either way, because I either think they just need to break up,
that's
true. They need to 180 on the marriage.
That's true. Either way, a decision is being forced here, right?
Exactly. Yeah. And like, to me, as a kid of divorced parents who have both done really well post-divorce, and like divorced when I was quite young, and I think that's actually very healthy. Like, I'd hate the idea of, like, a girl I knew in school, when she basically turned 18, her parents were like, we're divorcing and we only stay together until like you were ready to leave home, and it completely traumatized her. And she was like, my whole childhood was a lie. And I think... Which is
brought up in this movie.
Which is brought up in this movie.
Yeah.
I'm also like, why did you knock 2 apartments together? You should have kept 2 separate apartments, you fools.
You couldn't rent one out.
No, you could have each lived in one.
Oh, right, sure.
But like, I actually, to me, it's equally, if not more optimistic if they split up, because I really think they're awful together. And I think what we might have been seeing there is, typically like in a relationship, when people know they're breaking up, they have breakup sex, or they might have like one last amazing like weekend together or whatever. I think we were just seeing them coming back together and like having a really nice, intimate, hopeful moment. You
could be right.
But funny, like, they're not. But I love that it's ambiguous.
It's funny. I kind of read it as quite romantic and optimistic, and they just needed to remember what they lost.
But it is romantic and optimistic either way, because I think for a couple to separate amicably and with love for each other is such a nice thing.
I guess what I'm saying is, specifically, I thought they were staying together.
You want them to get together. I mean, I still want them to sleep with Edward Norton and Penelope Cruz. So
I don't.
That's where I'm
at. That's so interesting. I actually thought... I thought they were going to do that and it was going to be a disaster. You think that was the best thing for them?
No, I don't think it was the best thing for them, but I just don't think it was a disaster. I think either way they need to break up, but they could have potentially actually been quite happy in an open marriage, because they're clearly not happy in a closed marriage.
Well, that is true.
So something dramatic has to change for them, and I love the idea that, imagine you're Seth Rogen, you just come home from work and you're like, wait, there's people coming over for dinner, and like 2 hours later you're about to have sex with your neighbour that you've never anticipated.
I mean, it really escalates quickly.
It really escalated so
By the way,
quickly.
we are home now, but I did invite some people over for drinks. They're
waiting for us.
yeah, they're waiting for us. We
Anyway,
gotta go.
we gotta go. Let us know what you thought of the invite. I already know that loads of our patrons have messaged us to say that they loved it, and because we've gone to this a bit earlier this week, we will put this one out on Patreon first. Early listen for the patrons. But let us know what you thought, and please, sorry for spoiling the World Cup quarter-final for you. Yes, France did win. You won't have known this by the time you hear it on Sunday.
They're hearing this days
I
later.
know. And if you do like the podcast, please rate and subscribe on Spotify or Apple Podcasts. We hugely, greatly appreciate when people do that.
I got one question.
Go on.
I was confused about the geography with this window where he was spying. So they're up there, they're upstairs neighbours, but I suppose there's a communal garden maybe in the middle, and they're upstairs and to the other side.
There seems to be a bit
Is
of
that
a
it?
courtyard in the middle, because also when Olivia Wilde was like in the kids' bedroom, she could see across through a window into what would have technically been previously a different apartment.
Right.
And it was Seth Rogen playing the piano.
Thanks
Yeah.
for setting that right.
But anyway, I loved the whole set, and I desperately want to paint all our walls green now.
Let's do it. Let's
do
pick
it.
3 colours.
And come
All
over
right.
to Patreon to listen to us talk about The Last Night. Is that what it's called?
A Knight's Tale.
The Knight's Tale, which we need to watch, and of course House of the Dragon every week, which we're absolutely
Knights,
loving.
dragons, tournaments,
Yeah.
Lancing.
Such a great season
All
of
that
House of the
stuff.
Dragon. I think best season yet.
All right.
Bye.
Bye.
You, her, and me.
Yes.
Me too.
Yes, also you.